Wow, I really can't believe Aaron Rodgers is a New York Jet.
He goes down. Rodgers.
I'm sorry, Jets fans. Oh my God.
Let's go, let's go!
That is some absolutely tragic news, and that honestly could be the end of Aaron Rodgers' career. I really feel bad for him, and I feel bad for Jets fans. But the football season moves on. Welcome back to week 2 of Kleschka Picks. Week 1, I went 9-7. It was a crazy week 1, if you ask me. And the matchup, the game of the week that Austin Kleschka is going to pick for week 2 is actually the Thursday night football game, Vikings and Eagles. Vikings did not have their best game, losing to the Buccaneers at home. Kirk Cousins was turning the ball over like crazy. You can ask me because I had him on my fantasy team. I was locked into watching that man, and it was just frustrating me. I still got the win, though. And then we have the Eagles, who did get a win, came out hot against the Patriots, but as the game went on, they were just lucky that they were still able to win that game. In this one, I don't think we will see the Eagles play like that again. The Vikings, they're very up and down. Kirk Cousins is allergic to prime time, and the Eagles defense, I think, is going to give Kirk Cousins some trouble, especially with them being in Philadelphia. So I think the Eagles are going to return to that form where Jalen Hurts is going crazy. The team is performing at a Super Bowl caliber level, and I think the Eagles win 30-24. Buccaneers and Bears. The Bears played their biggest rival, the Green Bay Packers. No Brett Favre, no Aaron Rodgers. It's the era of Jordan Love, and the Bears and all of their fans thought this is finally our time. We are going to be in control in this rivalry. That was not the case. Jordan Love came out there, looked good, and Justin Fields in their offense did not. The Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, they definitely surprised. Baker Mayfield has a do-or-die year in his hands right now, and he made sure he started off on the right foot. And I think that is going to continue to be the case because the play calling for the Bears is just not looking good with Justin Fields at quarterback. And they got to get somebody in there that is calling the right plays, making the right moves, because I don't know what they're doing with him, and they are definitely not getting everything they can out of him. I just think everything is not matched up correctly in Chicago, and I think the Buccaneers will win again, 23-17. Lions and Seahawks. I said it last week. The Lions, they impressed a lot of people at the end of last year, and I had a feeling that was going to carry over to this season, and it did as they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. My Seahawks, we had a good first half against the Rams, and then our offense completely disappeared in the second half. We ended up losing, and I think the Lions and their defense are going to continue to impress the NFL fans. I think they are going to prove a lot of these doubters wrong, and I think they're going to come out and do it again. If they can have such a hot matchup against the Chiefs, one of the best teams, a dynasty in the making, then I definitely think they'll be able to handle the Seahawks, unfortunately. I think we will battle. I think we will keep it close, but I think the Lions pull off the victory 28-24. Chargers and Titans. I said it. The Chargers, they give up a ton of points while they also score a ton of points, and that's exactly what we saw in their matchup last week. Tua, TYREEK, and the Dolphins went absolutely crazy, tearing apart that defense. And they have the Titans, where Ryan Tannehill is the quarterback, just does not seem like the move that is going to get them farther and farther in the winning process. And with the Chargers scoring a ton of points, going up against a Titans team who has the potential to be good, but even against the Chargers defense, who is prone to giving up points, I still don't think this Titans team is put together well enough to take advantage of that. Make it look interesting, but in the end, I think the Chargers pull away late in the game and get the victory 27-17. Packers and Falcons, we talked about how Jordan Love is the new captain in the era of Green Bay football. And then the Falcons, they squeaked out a win against the Panthers, playing against the rookie QB. Easy task. But Jordan Love, with the guys he has around him, felt comfortable. he was slinging the ball well. And when he had to go to Aaron Jones was making the big plays. And if you don't have Aaron Jones running the ball, A.J. Dillon is that nice complement to Aaron Jones. So I definitely think the Falcons are going to be brought back down to earth here against the Packers. I think Jordan Love and this offense have already meshed well. I think that's what happens when you allow a quarterback to sit a few years behind a Hall of Famer like Aaron Rodgers, learn what they can do, what they need to improve on, learn from that Hall of Fame quarterback, and when they finally get their chance, they are going to look good. And that's exactly what Jordan Love did, and I think he's going to do it again. I think Packers win 24-20. Raiders and Bills. The Raiders barely squeaked out a win against the Broncos, and the Bills, Josh Allen, so many turnovers. He threw 4 interceptions, I believe, and lost to the Jets. It was an absolutely terrible game for the Bills. They couldn't even beat the Jets without Aaron Rodgers. After that huge injury, they still took an L. Josh Allen still continues to struggle when games go to overtime. And if the Raiders were barely able to beat the Broncos, I don't think it's even going to be close against an angry Buffalo Bills team. I think Josh Allen returns to the Josh Allen we all know, and I think they go crazy against the Raiders. 33-17. Ravens and Bengals. Now look, the Bengals did not look good at all against the Browns. It was a bad weather game for sure, but Joe Burrow did not even throw for 100 yards. The Ravens also struggled against the Texans, who are led by a rookie QB. They did get the win. Both of these teams did not look that impressive. The Ravens have already taken an injury hit with J.K. Dobbins out for the season, and I think Joe Burrow getting him out of that bad weather into a normal game, shaking off the rust. I think we see that offense ignite this week, and I think Joe Burrow and the Bengals return to form, beating the Ravens 27-20. Colts and Texans, a battle of these two rookie quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson and C.J. Stroud, who both took L's in week 1. And I gotta say, all the rookie quarterbacks around the league, none of them really impressed me. None of them really had a great outing. So in this matchup, I think it's going to come down to which team has the better defense, and I think that is the Colts. With that defense stopping the Houston Texans and Anthony Richardson honestly looking the best out of the rookie quarterbacks from the first week, I think the Colts will pick up this win 24-17. Chiefs and Jags. Now the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, they fought the entire game. They struggled. They turned over the ball, but they did not let that determine how the rest of their game was going to go. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, man, they struggled without Travis Kelce. Kadarius Toney was the death of that team in week 1. Mr. Stonehands. He'll be lucky if you see him out on the field this week. And then the Jags, Trevor Lawrence, I just don't think you can ever count them out. But same with the Chiefs. Can't count out Patrick Mahomes. 13 seconds. We know it all about Mahomes at this point. And I definitely think this is a team that knows what happened in the week before and what they need to do to make sure it doesn't happen again in the next week. So Mahomes, I think, going to come out and he's going to be way more intense. He's going to play way better, and he's going to make sure he's on every single guy, and he's going to let them know, hey, we are not doing that again. We are here for 5 a.m. drills. You don't leave till 1 in the morning practice. We do this because this is the kind of caliber he expects out of his players, and I think the Chiefs will beat the Jags 28-20. Giants and Cardinals. The Cardinals, they did take an L to the Commanders in week 1, and they are projected to be one of the worst teams in football this year. The Giants definitely performed like one of the worst teams in football this year, and I think it really can quiet down the hype of Daniel Jones. I don't get it. There are people out there that hype up Daniel Jones to the max. I've always thought he's just mid, and I think that's all he ever will be until he proves me wrong. But it definitely did not look good for him last week. It was another bad weather game. They got shut out by the Cowboys. That defense absolutely owned them, had their number, and I do think they are a much better team than the Cardinals. I think Saquon is going to finally get his chances to get out there, run, dominate the field. The offense never really got to shine. I'm sure they never really got to work the way they wanted. And against the Cardinals, I think this is a fresh breath, and you can finally be like, okay, forget that last week. We're moving on. Let's play the football we know, and I think they're going to lean heavily on Saquon, and I think the Giants win 30-14. 49ers and Rams. The 49ers probably looked the most impressive out of every team last week, absolutely owning the Steelers, shutting them down, almost shutting them out. And then the Rams, who I thought were going to struggle without Cooper Kupp. I thought they were going to have trouble trying to find who they're going to get this ball to make plays happen. And that new receiver, Puka Nukwa, I think is how you say his name, he stepped up in Cooper Kupp's absence. They leaned heavily on Kyron Williams. They just made weapons out of these new guys, and it worked. It paid off. But against a very tough San Francisco defense, I think they're going to get a reality check, and I think the 49ers, Brock Purdy, and all those weapons on offense are going to have a complete game with the offense and defense, and I think the 49ers are going to win 27-20. Jets and Cowboys, this was slated to be such a good game until the Aaron Rodgers injury. The Jets still pulled off the victory, an amazing, exciting victory with a walk-off punt return, and the Cowboys probably played some of the best football last week, winning 40-0, absolutely destroying the Giants. And if it wasn't for that injury, I think this game would be a lot closer. The Jets were taking advantage of the struggling Bills last week, and with the Cowboys team riding so high on their horses right now, and that defense looking so good, I think they are absolutely going to tear apart Zach Wilson and the Jets. And I think the Cowboys offense is going to struggle a little bit because the Jets defense is pretty solid, and I think the Cowboys win 27-17. Commanders and Broncos. Commanders barely got the win last week. Broncos barely got the L last week. And what I said last week, I am just going to have this mindset and this look of the Broncos until they change. Russell Wilson continues to struggle as a member of the Denver Broncos. And Sam Howell, the quarterback of the Commanders, he fought all game. He kept his team in it, and he fought until the end, and they pulled off the victory. They got a solid defense. And like I said, until I start seeing a change over there in Denver, until things start to shift, then this view of the Broncos that I have is Russell Wilson is just going downhill at this point. He's falling off. And I think the Commanders are definitely going to take advantage with their run game, Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson. And I think they pull out the victory against the Broncos 23-20. Dolphins and Patriots. The Patriots couldn't even pull off a victory against an Eagles team that ended up struggling the more the game went on. And the Dolphins, they stayed in it the entire time. When they were playing that Chargers team, like I've said, they're going to give up points. They took advantage of that. Tua went nuts. Some of the highest passing yards ever for an opening week, and most of them were going to TYREEK Hill. I know, he cost so many people in fantasy football, and he's become a lot of people's number one enemy. And this week, I think as long as they have Tua healthy, and TYREEK is going to reap the benefits of that, along with the distractions of, oh, there's Jalen Waddle, can't forget about him. And that defense is also pretty solid in the secondary. Mac Jones has really never been anything too impressive to me. So I expect this offense to go nuts again for the Dolphins, shut down the Patriots, and I think the Dolphins win 31-23. Just like I have a game of the week every week, I'm also going to have a battle of mid every week, and we have our winner. This is the Saints and Panthers. The Saints barely able to get a win last week against the Titans team that the more the years go on with this squad they have built, the less impressive they look to me. And the Panthers, they took an L. Bryce Young getting his first taste of NFL action. And now he has a very similar matchup, dude. It's another division rival. It's a team that's not too impressive to me. And I think we're going to see a similar game. But I do actually think they will come out on the winning end of this one. I think they'll lean more on Miles Sanders. He's a veteran in this league. And I think he needs to help guide and ease Bryce Young into this league. Allow him to become that number one pick that the Panthers took. And I think we are going to see them turn it around from the week before. I think we'll see more struggles out of the Saints, because with the game they played last week, barely being able to pull off that victory against the Titans, I think we're going to see the same thing here. I don't think either team's really going to go crazy. I think it's going to stay close. And I think the Panthers come out on the winning end. Bryce Young looking better, improving, and getting the victory 24-17. Raise your hand in the comments if you ever see a primetime matchup that just makes you go, really? Why? That's how I feel about this. Browns and Steelers. I know every team has to get a Thursday night, Monday night, Sunday night football game, but it's just so annoying when these are one of the matchups. I really do not care about this game. The Steelers absolutely embarrassed by the 49ers. It is one of the best defenses in the league. They already faced injuries to Deontay Johnson. That is something you don't want to see this early on. I don't know if he's going to play, but if he's out, then man, that sucks for the Steelers. And the Browns, they were able to pull out the victory against the Bengals. Deshaun Watson didn't light the world on fire, but he definitely looked good enough. And this week, I think that'll continue. I think the Steelers team being so young and having to carry such a heavy load of trying to shine from the past era. Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, they made such a mark in Pittsburgh. And now Kenny Pickett, Najee Harris, George Pickens, they got to be this new era. That's a lot of pressure. And I think the Browns and their defense are going to shut them down again. I don't think the offense is going to be able to shine. I think they're just going to struggle. And I think it might be a rough year for the Steelers, honestly. And I think Deshaun Watson definitely got some confidence back after that Week 1 game beating the Bengals. And I think against another division rival, Deshaun Watson is going to just get better as the season goes on. So give me the Browns winning this one, 27-17. And that is it for week 2 of Kleschka Picks. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know how you felt about your team's week 1 performance. Like the video, subscribe, tell your mom, your dad, your grandma, grandpa, pets, friends, brothers, sister, and uncle, everybody you know to subscribe if they haven't already. I got this, you got this, we all got this, and I'll see you next time.